It's David Wowie from Another Eden Adventures. How are ya? Cerrine Another Style. Have you unlocked her yet? Who should be in her team? And what grasta or equipment should you give her to make her as strong as possible? Watch on to find out how you can make her an absolute killer, and to find out how she compares to other units in the game. What's a global rank? Stay on to find out, baby. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. My goal is to make more people aware of this amazing JRPG and community, so your support goes a long way. Thanks for the love. And if you have your own strategies for Cerrine Another Style, share them below to help anyone watching. If you don't have Cerrine AS yet, you can get her by completing all of her normal style quests, as well as chapter 2 of Mythos, Apex of Logic, and Cardinal Scales. Then go to the front of L Block in IDA school to finish a bunch of quests and semi-tough bosses. But is all this effort to get her worth it? Let's look at our skills, shall we? Afterwards, we'll check out the best team setup and grasta to give her the most opportunity to inflict as much pain as possible. Like her normal style, Cerrine Another Style is a fist type earth piercing unit. If you compare both their versions' 5-star stats, there are a few differences. At level 80, Cerrine Another Style has 226 power compared to Cerrine Normal Style's 208 power. But with more power comes less intelligence. She only has 133 intelligence compared to her normal style's 179. But that's okay, as for her we're more interested in strength. And as you can see here, they've given Cerrine Another Style more speed, endurance, and spirit, making her overall a stronger and more durable unit than her normal style. Cerrine Another Style is only the 26th strongest unit in the game in terms of pure power stats, but that by itself is irrelevant, as it's the character's whole set of stats and skills that determine how good they really are. And don't worry, we'll go over Cerrine Another Style's global ranking very soon. Right off the bat, Cerrine AS, if there are 4 or more IDA school or outlaw personality characters in the party, more on the party setup soon, Cerrine AS will deploy Flash Strike Stance. The Flash Strike Stance increases all types of attack moves by 30% and gives bonus another force bar increases. But the twist is, Flash Strike Stance only lasts for 1 turn, so the common use for this stance is to activate another force on turn 1 instantly to inflict maximum damage. Cerrine AS has the same skill set as her normal style, except for her last 2 skills. Instead of Grand Razor and the skill Invigorating Flog, which is a hilarious name for a skill by the way, Cerrine Another Style has the skills Solidarity and another one called Era of the Conqueror. With Solidarity, Cerrine increases the power, intelligence, speed, and type attack of all main and reserve party members by 35% for 5 glorious turns. Best yet, if there are other IDA school and outlaw personalities in her team, this effect doubles, making it 70%. So who are the best IDA and outlaw units you can add to your team? I'll let you know soon, but first let's look at this extra multi-upgrade you get with using Solidarity. Multi-upgrade essentially means that characters with multi-hit strikes increase in damage with each next hit. So for example, if you activate Solidarity and have Hysmena Alter in your team, and then you make her use the skill called Refusal. Refusal is a 4 times water slash attack. So Hysmena Alter's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th attacks will gradually increase in strength thanks to Cerrine's Solidarity skill. For your reference, the multi-hit is currently capped at a 3 times multiplier on the 5th hit. Now let's look at Cerrine Another Style's next skill, Era of the Conqueror. Where Solidarity is a support skill, Era of the Conqueror is Cerrine Another Style's damage skill. With Era of the Conqueror, Cerrine AS inflicts an Earth-type blunt attack on all enemies and reduces their resistance by 25%. It can stack up to 3 times, allowing you to reduce their damage resistance by 50%. The attack also inflicts break, meaning that the damage of your next hit is doubled. But wait, there's more! If Cerrine Another Style is max HP, she'll inflict 200% more damage. And like with Solidarity, you're stronger if you have IDA school or outlaw personality units in your team. As you can see by these numbers here, the damage increase per number you have in your team with 6 outlaw units and IDA units, you'll be enjoying a 640% damage increase on top of all your other buffs. So who are the outlaw and IDA units you can choose from? Before you choose your teammates, you gotta make sure you're dressed for the occasion. You grab some sick Another Eden merch, like the merch Scott wears on streams, or this wicked pixel hoodie, or this rare art book. Check out the links in my description to find out more. And remember, this kind of stock doesn't last forever. Anyway, back to the team setup. Who are the outlaw and IDA units you can choose from? The full lists are here on screen, which I pulled from the wiki. Screenshot them here for your reference, or look up the wiki later on. The bad news is most of these units are power crept, but there are still ones that can actually still be useful. Also, since most of these units are power crept, will you actually be better off equipping Cerrine with newer, more overpowered non-IDA and outlaw personality characters? I'll show you the results of the experiments I did soon, and the results may kind of shock you. But first, let's look at these lists to see who would be good with Cerrine. When you come up with a team, you need to first ask yourself what kind of enemy you'll be fighting and what their weaknesses are. You then need to ask yourself which units from these lists you currently have, and then tailor your team accordingly. If you want Cerrine AS to be the star of the show, your team will probably be best against enemies who have some weakness to earth and or physical attacks. Having a piercing or earth team may help, and she also works well against mobs or enemies. On that note, we also need a good zone setter, either a piercing or earth zone setter. In this case, I've used Claude Extra Style. On turn 1, Claude ES uses the skill called Empathy, which increases Cerrine's HP, and it also sets him up for turn 2, where you can use a skill called Cerrine Nike to copy Cerrine's attack type and activate Piercing Zone. What's great about Claude ES is that he can also work as your healer, and you can use a skill like Edafis Monyata to activate another zone, making your team even stronger. I did a more comprehensive video on Claude ES. I've linked it in the description and you can watch it after this video. The rest of the team is harder to pick because there's no one that really stands out. For my pain setter, I chose Deidre because she's an earth unit and her blood cruelty skill can inflict pain on all enemies. And remember, Cerrine's solidarity skill benefits units with a multi-hit, so she can strengthen units who strike more than once, like High Daddy Another Style or Hismena Alter. Since I don't have High Daddy Another Style, I chose Hismena Alter for this particular example. Hismena Alter's refusal skill is a 4x XL multi-hit move that also has its own skill multiplier, so this is perfect for Cerrine AS's multi-hit bonus. Now, what grasta should we equip Cerrine AS with if we want to make her as strong as possible? Some basic grasta you can equip her with are Pain grasta, such as Power of Agony and Power of Pain. If your Cerrine has a lot of light points, you can also use Power of Fate, Earth, which increases the power of her Earth type attacks according to your light or shadow points. You can also equip other members of your team with supportive grasta. What do I mean by supportive grasta? Well, for example, even if Elmina isn't a main unit, you can equip her with a grasta called Enhance if max HP, for example, and once you upgrade this grasta, all units in your team will have a plus 30% damage if they are max HP. This is doubly useful since Cerrine AS is already stronger at max HP even without the grasta. Another grasta you can give her is Power of Quake, which by itself increases earth damage by 30%. To make it a support grasta, simply upgrade it with an ore and it will give everyone else in your team plus 30% earth damage. Isn't that sweet? Lastly, you can equip your support ally with Almighty Power brackets IDA school, which if upgraded increases all IDA school unit type attacks by 25%, and that includes Cerrine AS. There's also an Almighty Power grasta for outlaw units, but that will be released with a new ensemble chapter, which I did a video of. Here, I'll link it in the description just for you. Some ores you can upgrade Cerrine's grasta with are Pain or Poison ores, which increase her damage by 50% if the opponent has Pain, the Last Stand ore, which increases strength by 30% per enemy in battle, and the Bull's Eye ore to increase damage by 50% outside of another force. So which sidekick should you give a Cerrine Another Style led team? Well, Terra has an auto heal technique at the end of every turn and increases the critical and magical critical rate of all party members by 100%. So that's useful, especially since we want to keep Cerrine AS at max HP. But me personally, I like using Morty because he inflicts an earth type attack on all enemies, which goes with Cerrine's earth setup. Plus with the right stats, he can give up to a 30% increase in power and speed to all allies. Now that we've got the technical mumbo jumbo out of the way, what kind of damage can we actually deal with the setup? This is the kind of damage this team can do if we don't have Filmina's support grasta that I just mentioned, but only equipped Cerrine AS with basic pain grasta. I'll show you the loadout after this. As you can see here, Cerrine AS's hits were sometimes peaking around 60 million damage per hit. I experimented a few times and I had a total damage score of around 600 million plus each 4 turn round. And this is the grasta setup. But then I asked myself, is it really necessary to include IDA or outlaw units, especially if they're severely power crept in some instances and you don't like them that much? For example, can you still make Cerrine AS just as strong if instead of Deidre, you use someone a little bit more up to date like Iffy? I'll tell you the answer. The answer is yes! I replaced the team with newer, stronger units, in this case Yifa AS and Iffy to buff Cerrine AS and Tuva Alta to set Earth Zone, and guess what? Cerrine AS's hits were still peaking around 60 million damage with a total damage score of about 600 million, meaning with my setup there really was no need to team Cerrine up with IDA or outlaw units. But of course, results may vary depending on who you've got on your team, which enemy you're fighting, and which grasta you've got equipped, and blah 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 blah. But the easy rule to remember is to make Cerrine AS strong, keep her at max HP, put her in earth or piercing zone, and give her pain or poison based grasta. As you can see, for a free unit, even with a slightly moderate setup, Cerrine AS isn't bad, man. She's a great unit for mobs and single enemies, and she can work as a great support unit for multi-hit characters and IDA and outlaw units. So how does Cerrine Another Style compare to everyone else in the game? According to the global tier list, she's been ranked 95, putting her in line with the likes of Hina AS, Byakuya AS, Yukino AS, and Starkey, though I would comfortably give her a 96. What do you think of Cerrine AS? Let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe.